Hi, I'm Helen Lindop, and I'm doing a talk today called Don't Worry, Be Crappy, Why You Should Have a Side Project That Makes No Money. And this is for you if you've ever felt that you're having fun, but you should be doing something more productive with your time. It's also for you if you have a hobby that you really enjoy, you're doing pretty well at, and you're thinking, I should really monetize this and make some money from it, sell the product, sell the service, whatever it is you're doing. And it's also for you if you can't get started on something new because you're just worried you're not going to be any good at it. So I'm going to do a live demo of this exact principle. And it's the first time I've ever done it, so let's see how it goes. So before I started this, I made this printable here, which you can print off on the website. And what you need to do is you need to fold it that way, and there's a line to fold it along. And then you need to cut it along the cut line, just there. And then you need to open it out again and fold it along the middle the other way. And then if you might need to do a little bit of fiddling around, but if you kind of do that, what you get is a booklet. Now mine's sort of pre-folded, but you might need to do a bit of jiggling around. And if I was a proper designer, I would line this all up properly. So I can probably see the designers watching this kind of horrified at what I've done, but I'm sorry, it's my first attempt. But you need to just kind of jiggle it around, fold it a bit, and you end up with a booklet. And you can color that in if you like to. And the challenge is, there's two blobs. Can you color them the right colors? Because they're having a conversation. Okay, so it's not perfect, but I've made these little sort of one-page foldy little comic things for myself. I've never made them for anybody else, so that's my first time of me trying it. So you may need to use some scissors on the side to straighten it up. One day I'll learn how to do it properly. Okay, I'm just going to share my screen because I have some pictures to show you. So let me do that. Okay, so you should be able to see, hopefully now, the first proper page of that booklet. And this is where I'm coming from, really. So, you know, if you're doing something, you're enjoying it, you're thinking, hey, maybe I should make some money from this. And actually, I'm saying maybe you shouldn't, because there's a real pleasure and joy in doing something badly whenever you like with no pressure. So have a think about that whenever you hear those voices in your head saying, oh, you should be doing something more productive with your time. You should be making some money. And I've got some reasons why this is the case. Now, the first one I'm going to talk about is that fun is important. And I think as adults, sometimes we think fun is for kids and we should be doing something much more serious with our time. Or we should be making money or doing work or whatever it is we should be doing that's serious and grown up. And actually, if the last year has shown that making time to have some fun is really, really important. And I've just put this up. I was really fed up in February. I think we all were, because the weather was rubbish and we were locked down and all those things. And I found a Bayer tapestry meme generator and just made some memes, shared them around. It was a real giggle. People enjoyed it. I had a laugh. But even if nobody else enjoyed it, I had fun. So I think just don't forget the little things, the little fun things in life. That's really important. And next, I'm going to explain how just trying stuff out and not being afraid of it being rubbish the first time and not needing to make any money from it, my experience of that. Now, this gateway is in Bedford, and it sort of took me down an interesting path. Now, I should say, this is the very opposite of crappy, because this is about 170 years old. And if you can see the green gate, just about, that's a wooden gate that, as far as I can tell, is original. So that's been there all that time. So sometimes it's important to do a good job, obviously. And if you're selling a service or a product, then yeah, of course you need to do a good job. Now, what this has got to do with what I'm talking about I will explain. So just over the bridge from that in Bedford is Borough Hall. And I signed up to do what I thought was a craft project there about 5 years ago. And then I got there and it turned out it wasn't a craft project at all. It was an art project. And the Bedfordshire County Archives had said, we're running an art project, come in, be inspired by what we've got. And then we're going to do some art exhibitions around Bedfordshire over the summer. So I got my GCSE in art over 25 years before. I've done hardly anything since. And I showed up and there were, all the art teachers at the local college in sixth forms. There was the Bedford Embroiderers Guild, because it was a textile art project. And for some reason, the thing that really freaked me out was that, I don't know if you've ever heard of the Aragon lace makers, maybe not, but the story behind them is that when Henry VIII divorced Catherine of Aragon, she was sent to Bedfordshire. And being Spanish, she taught people in the county to make lace. Don't think that's actually entirely true. But anyway, at that point, all I was thinking was, oh my God, they've had 500 years practice at this. They should be quite good. So I was pretty intimidated by that. But I stuck with it and I thought, well, actually, the one thing I can do as somebody that grew up here is I can tell this story sort of through my own eyes and show people my view of it. So that's what I decided to do. So I looked into being a bit of a geek and liking technology, and I quite like historical technology as well. I looked into this place, and it's the gatehouse is all that's left of an ironworks that used to be really cutting edge in its day, so Victorian technology. And I quite like that. And when it was first built, it was on a country lane, basically, all surrounded by trees. And I found a photo of it when it was new. So I thought I'd just do a picture of it in textiles of when it was new to compare it to the modern day with all these cars pouring past and, in a busy part of town opposite the hospital and all that sort of stuff. So this is what I did. So I did this in needle felt, which is it's basically using a needle to put strands of wool together into a picture. So it's about so big. And it went around Bedfordshire in lots of exhibitions, and it was amazing. I'd never thought that I would ever get involved in something like that, and it was all just through just having a go. And I was asked to submit some work into exhibitions for the next few years. Actually, after that, made some new friends, got to know some nice people. And I never would have planned that. It was just, okay, I'll have a go at this, and I got stuck in. So you never know where it might lead. However, what if you think you're not very good? And I quite like this quote by Linda Barry. She's a cartoonist, and it's really a bad idea to ask, is this good at the beginning? Because you can just stop yourself from even trying it. And so don't do that. Don't put that much pressure on yourself, because you can completely kill it off. And sometimes, like me with that art exhibition, there is no goal you can set. You don't know about the goal. You don't even know it's there. You kind of have to make your path by just trying it out, seeing if you enjoy it, and that's just keeping going, and you're just seeing where it takes you. And also, one thing I've learned from these being part of these art exhibitions is good is a really vague term. And often what I think of as good is a nice straight line or smooth paint or something that's technically good. But when you get it out there, often what's good is what connects with people and what the story it tells to someone else and how they respond to it. And that's not to say you should only do what other people like, but it just means this concept of good is quite a vague thing, and you don't want to be restricted by that. Okay, next reason. This is a cartoon I did last summer, and I was, I don't know if anyone else felt this, but the initial part of the whole COVID thing had subsided. It was like, hey, go out, have a meal, go see your friends. And it was just freaking me out a bit. And the way I sort of thought about dealing with that fear was obviously escapism. You know, I just drew monsters. Or I didn't even draw monsters, did I? They're not there. So this is sort of illustrating another point that I found not so long ago, is that according to a psychologist called Olivia Reams, and you can watch her TED Talk, it's, you know, just doing stuff is a good way of coping with anxiety. So if you do something badly the first time and then improve after that, she's found that it speeds up your decision making. It gets you to take action right away, and instead of being stuck in this analysis paralysis thing where you may never even get started. So it's good for anxiety as well as being fun, and you know, getting you to meet new people that you never would have done otherwise. I think coming to this as somebody who's self-employed and with an interest in business, another key thing that I've mentioned at the beginning is shouldn't I be monetizing this? And here's a good example of why you shouldn't be monetizing, or I shouldn't be monetizing this, and that's why I'm not. So if I go back to my felt, nobody's wanted to buy this. This is my first one I ever did, but I did a few after that were, I guess, technically better. They were tidier. And somebody said, oh, you should sell that. And it's like, needle felt is the worst thing, I think, to try and sell, because it's just so labor intensive. And if you've not seen anyone do it, it involves basically stabbing every fiber of wool with a needle to get it to felt together. So it's more like therapy, because you get to stab things with needles than it is a way of making money. So the what you would get paid per hour for doing that is really tiny. So it's a really bad business idea. But it's not just the business side of it, not just the money side of it, because to run a business, you need to produce the same product or service consistently over and over again for lots of different people. And that's, to me, the very opposite of just trying stuff out. And to me, unless I'm very confident in what I'm doing, that puts me under pressure. And I mean, if you're confident, it's fine. You know you can deliver it, but you need to be. And I mean, you need to do the branding. You need to craft a message. You need to share that consistently. You need to do the customer service. To me, it's the very opposite of what I'm talking about here. So whenever I see somebody saying, oh, you should monetize that or turn your hobby into a business, it just leaves me thinking, no, it's just a totally different thing. And I'm sure some people do it and manage successfully, but I can see a lot of people are going to be struggling with that because it's just a different thing entirely. And then finally, onto my last slide. It's another drawing I did, and this is familiar to anybody that's been networking. the elevator pitch. And if you're a networker that many of us know well says, what do you do is the worst conversation opener ever. And I agree in that it sort of shuts down the conversation and you just talk business. You don't talk about the whole person. But when I really thought about this, what do you do actually means, how are you earning money now? It doesn't really mean who are you, what are you interested in. It's how are you earning money now? And that ignores every part of what makes you you. So it discounts all the valuable things you do that aren't paid. The fun projects, the creative projects, unless you're lucky enough to do your creative stuff as part of your work, and also the caring roles that many people play. And I think we also undervalue unpaid activity as well. And it can be very, very valuable indeed. And I hope I've been able to raise that up a bit, as well as everything else that I wanted to talk about. So thanks for listening. And I hope that's given you a few things to ever think about, as well as something to colour in.